Okay, this is ProcessTrading.com, and using the ProcessTrading.com right edge trading system on the S&P E-mini futures system using the 1500 tick bar chart. And what I'm going to show you today is, very importantly, how we make good trading decisions where there's high probabilities of success. Now, if you've been over to the ProcessTrading.com website, then you know that we have two parts of the trading system. One, the trend trading part, which uses the upper segment here with the price bars, the timing alert dots, and the process trading VWAP, which would be either yellow or gray. And then down below that, we have the discretionary indicators with the INTERG, which stands for internal energy, the sentiment oscillator with the sentiment line and the momentum line within an oscillator with a midline to it, and then the short-term trend oscillator that works both as an oscillator and a channel, so you can tell the variations in volatility. And the short-term trend oscillator also has a pullback line to it where you can see price hits it and pulls back. It comes up to it, approaches it, and pulls back. It hits it and pulls back. So these are the three discretionary indicators that we use. When we're making discretionary trades, we use additional information as well. This is the NYSE. Here's the broader market as it's occurring today. And we can see right here, this is a line that I have arbitrarily put on to the graph. So in a sense, I make an oscillator out of the broader market. It has an upper bound up here above it, but you don't see that upper bound because prices never reached that upper bound. So even though the market did pull back, we didn't have that confirming high volatility number here to associate with it. But we had two very distinctive broader market indications, which gave us clear indications of when and where to look and what direction to take our trade. Here we see the broader market that had gone well below the selling area here down to an oversold condition. And so we're going to start looking, when we see this, at our discretionary indicators to see what they're telling us. Well, we see right here at price, this is the price of the S&P 500. We see this price right here occurring simultaneously when the broader market got oversold. We see the INTERG had gone out of the S&P mini futures, and it went to the downside, and we can see that going down downside here. But here we see energy coming back into it, and that's these green histogram lines here is energy coming into it and building in it. Most importantly, we see the momentum line cutting through upward through the sentiment line right at that point. So here we have an oversold condition on the broader market. We have both the momentum and the sentiment telling us that the market is going to go up. We see on the short-term trend that even though it's red, it had reached the pullback line and crossed over through the pullback line, so that it does not look like that the market is going to continue down. It looks like it's going to continue up, and we have positive energy. Not only that, we have a trend timing alert dot here. These dots are different than the blue timing alert dots. They indicate that there may be a trend in progress, and it's a short-term trend, and here is that trend that occurred that was predicted by this dot. So between this oversold condition, all the discretionary indicators pointing towards a positive movement and an upward movement in price, along with the timing alert dot and a trend alert dot, this is where we took our trade right in here at the close of this bar. And you can see that indeed price did go up. So that's good for about a 10-point trade right there. So if you're only looking to take 1 or 2 or 4 points, that's the perfect place for you. But that is how we make our decision to go long at that point. Now here's our next trade, and let's see how we make our decision to go short here. We make our decision here strictly on the discretionary indicators. Again, we know how the internal energy works, that it forms peaks and valleys. So here's a peak, comes down to a valley. Over here's a peak, it comes down to a valley. Here's a peak and a valley, peak and a valley. That's the way the energy works. When you see the energy comes in, it builds, it crescendos, and then it falls off. So that's normal to most every trading move. So right here, we're looking at this price right here, this price bar right here. We see that the energy has come out of it. We have a trending dot to the downside. It's to the downside because it's associated with the gray bars right here. And then again, most importantly, we look at the sentiment oscillator and we see that momentum has come through the upper bound and is cutting down through the sentiment oscillator. That's the key. You know, it's a key here, it's a key here, and you'll see it's a key over here and here as well. Without that indication, we would not be making as valid and high probability decision. So we're looking for that key especially. Then also on the discretionary indicators, we see the short-term trend indicator coming down through the top and sloping down. So all the indications tell us that price now is going to retrace and fall down. And we see, in fact, it did fall down. So we get in right here. So this is about another 15-point trade, or again, however more points that you wanted to take out of this trade. Our last discretionary trade here was a long trade. Again, it's associated because the broader market had reached an oversold condition. And so we're looking to go long. We're looking if it's appropriate to go long. We see in the discretionary indicators, and this is right on the S&P E-mini, right where this showed the oversold area on the broader market, and here is the price bar action on the S&P E-mini. When you look at the discretionary indicators, again, we see a trending dot indicator, so we're kind of expecting this trend to the upside to occur. And once again, just like a broken record, we have the sentiment oscillator where the momentum line crosses up through, the momentum line crosses up through the sentiment line, and then sure enough, the sentiment line starts to slope upward, and that's indicative of the trend going upward. But it's this crossing action right here that solidifies our high probability decision. As well, the short-term trend oscillator here now starts to slope upward and confirm, along with the other indicators, that we've made a high probability decision. And you can see from the trend where that went up, there's more significant points that you take out of the S&P Mini 500. So you can trade one contract here and make significant money with making low risk, high probability decisions, but you have to have the tools to make the decisions. The last tool that I'll show you that we use is these color-coded volume bars. And in particular, we pay attention to the magenta and the white bars. Now, all these bars mean something, and the legend is out on processtrading.com. They're binary, and in particular, the magenta means that it's price is either going to move up or it's the end of an up. Well, it came in right at this, the low of this red bar here, so it doesn't appear that it's the end of an up. So we interpreted that the price is going to go up, and sure enough, it does go up there for a significant move. Over here, the white bars say that price is going to move down or it's the end of it down. So it's right below this red bar here with the long tail. And in fact, that was the end of the down. So when price starts to retrace and to create this tail, then we know to interpret this that that was the end of the down and not that it's going to move down. So when it retraced there and we were able to make that decision, then we were able to get in over on this bar here as it formulated, because we knew that the down for this time period was over and that price was going to continue up. So that's how we make low risk, high probability decisions that result in multiple points taken out of the S&P E-mini futures every day. And if you want to see these setups, just subscribe and you should get this. And also go over to processtrading.com if you want to see the rest of the system and how the trend trading system works. That's well documented as well over there, and as well as the other aspects of the system. So until the next setup video, I hope all your trades are successful, and I'll see you then.